Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So some interesting news in the featherweight division. The rematch between Josh Warrington and Mauricio Lara has been set for the 4th of September and it takes place at the Headingley Rugby League Stadium in Leeds. So this fight will actually have a crowd, it will actually be an outdoor event, and to be honest, I am looking forward to this rematch. You could argue that given the nature of the first fight, Josh Warrington doesn't really deserve a rematch, but ultimately it's in the contract, so that's the way it's got to be. And of course, first time around, Mauricio Lara went in there basically as an unheralded underdog back in February. Nobody was expecting him to win, and he turned out to pull off a massive upset by knocking out Josh Warrington in the 9th round, in which was a relatively one-sided fight. Josh Warrington had his moments here and there, but he could never really get to grips with the power, the strength, and the relentlessness of Mauricio Lara. So it's going to be interesting going into this rematch, how he can adjust, and whether he can make the necessary changes to win a rematch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this second fight. It should definitely make for some interesting viewing, and ultimately, this is what I describe as a high-stakes fight. And honestly, I love those sort of fights with those sort of dynamics. If Josh Warrington loses to Lara again, then where's his career right now, ultimately? I mean, first time around, Lara was very unheralded. Nobody really knew about him. If he were to lose against him again, then Warrington's career is in no man's land, and even if Lara were to lose this rematch, I think people might assume that he's just a one-hit wonder and kind of struck gold the first time he fought Warrington, so there's a lot on the line for both guys. Ultimately, I'm assuming the winner of this fight will go into title contention at featherweight, so yeah, I think it's got all of the ingredients to be a very interesting and entertaining fight. Obviously, first time around, despite it being somewhat one-sided, it was still an entertaining fight given the nature of how both guys fight. Warrington is an aggressive volume swarmer / aggressive fighter, whereas Mauricio Lara is just a hard-punching slugger. Both guys come forwards. That's what happened in the last fight, and it made for a pretty fun watch. But, going into this rematch, can Josh Warrington hone that aggression and successfully defeat Mauricio Lara? I personally have my doubts. I would really need to think about this fight, to be honest, before I commit and pick a winner. Ultimately, what I will say is this: if Josh Warrington fights in his usual aggressive manner of coming forwards, throwing punches in bunches, and staying in the pocket trading, more than likely Josh Warrington will get knocked out again, because Lara, he can engage in that game, and Lara is much, physically stronger than Warrington, and he's got a lot more power. Warrington isn't really a big power puncher. He's pure volume, really. And when you're trading with no power against a puncher, more than likely it's going to end in tears. So if Warrington approaches this fight in his usual style, more than likely he loses again. So to me, it's down to Warrington to make the necessary adjustments to actually come out the victor in this fight. I think the plan for that is relatively straightforward in regards to what Warrington should actually do, but I will save that for my prediction video. I will make a prediction for this fight, but it's certainly intriguing. A lot on the line. Both guys naturally are entertaining fighters, and it's fun that it's going to have a crowd. That's one more thing to consider, actually. Josh Warrington has always had a big fan base throughout his career. Even when he was fighting at domestic level, the fans in Leeds love Josh Warrington, so I think he's one of those fighters which really gets a boost from the crowd. There are certain fighters out there who can kind of drown the crowd out, and they do their usual thing, but other fighters sometimes get that extra 5% when the crowd is there cheering in their favour. So I personally believe Josh Warrington is one of those sort of fighters. He needs that hometown environment. He needs that hometown crowd to really thrive and get the best out of himself. And of course, first time around, there was no crowd. It was behind closed doors. And to me, even before Josh Warrington was getting hurt, he didn't really look quite right, in my opinion. So I think the dynamics of his second fight are a lot different. and I think it makes for intriguing viewing at the end of the day. So there we go. But those are my initial thoughts on this fight. I am looking forward to it, and nearer the time I will make a prediction video, so look out for that. Anyway, share your thoughts below. It's been your guy Delboy. Peace.